Well, howdy motherfactors, and welcome y'all to 101 Facts. I'm Sam, and I'm here to talk to you today about a place that apparently Bruce Springsteen was born in, Miley Cyrus is having a party in, and, as a great puppet once sang, is coming along to save the motherfucking day, yeah. No, it's not Pizza Hut. I'm talking the USA. But how much does the average American eat? What links bottled water and pornography in the States? Why does it always rain on me? 2 out of 3 of those questions are about to be answered, so cover yourself in red, white and blue paint, run into your nearest Bed Bath & Beyond, and scream about how much you love freedom, all while dressed as Captain America. This is 101 Facts about the USA. Number 1. Because it's so bloody big, the US is divided into 50 states, all of which are united. See what they did there? The smallest is Rhode Island, which is 1,545 square miles, and the largest is Alaska, with over 663,000 square miles. Number 2. Just 2.5 million red, white and blue people lived in the USA in 1776. Number 3. But today, 318 million Star-Spangled Patriots live in the US. Number 4. At least 189 of these citizens are named LOL, and apparently about 4 are named Sex. Mind you, I suppose it makes sense to name your kids after where they came from. Number 5. There is no official language in the US, but English is the most commonly spoken. You're welcome, guys. You're welcome. Number 6. One American consumes as many resources as 32 Kenyans. Number 7. 40% of births in the US come from women. What the... Oh, 40% of births in the US come from unmarried women. Right, I'm with you now. Number 8. In fact, 4% of women in the US have a bun in the oven right now. Well, baby-wise anyway. Number 9. Every tweet an American sends is archived by the Library of Congress. So, your boring friend Dalton's 140-character review of the latest fire hydrants is actually official government record. Number 10! Speaking of the bubonic plague, which we weren't, there are worryingly still cases of the bubonic plague reported in the US every year. Number 11. There are 100 divorces every hour in the US. Maybe some of that is to do with giving your partner bubonic plague by accident. I'm just trying to connect the dots here, guys. Number 12. Despite the country being so large and the population quite large too, 47% of US soil is actually unoccupied and doesn't have anybody registered as living there. Number 13. Just before any of you go getting yourself into any trouble, in America you have to be 16 to drive a car, 18 to vote and own a gun, and 21 to buy alcohol. Number 14. The grizzly bear is the official state animal of California, but none have been seen there since 1922. It's a bit like that here in the UK too. Wales's flag has a dragon on it, and we haven't seen any of those for bloody ages. Number 15. There are 3 towns in the US that have the name Santa Claus. It must be so depressing there when it's not Christmas time. Number 16. The states love their cars. In fact, there are 845 motor vehicles for every 1,000 people. Number 17. Montana loves its bovine breast milk. In fact, Montana has 3 times as many cows as it does people. It should be called Moontana. Oh god, I'm sorry, come back. Please come back. Number 18. The US is the 4th largest country in the world by land area and the 3rd by population, beaten by those pesky guys in India and China. Number 19. There have been 28 official versions of the US flag, and here are some examples of them right now before your very eyes. Okay, one of those I might have made up, but I'm not going to tell you which one. Number 20. The current 50-star American flag was designed by a 17-year-old as a school project in 1958. He only got a B- for the project. Number 21. Of the 6 flags planted on the moon by astronauts from the US, just 5 of them are still standing. I wonder what happened to the other one. Number 22! The lowest temperature ever recorded in the US was at Prospect Creek in Alaska in January 1971. The temperature was -80 Fahrenheit, which is probably enough to turn your nipples into glass cutters. Number 23! The hottest temperature ever recorded in the US was in the intimidatingly named Death Valley, California, in July 1913. It measured 134 Fahrenheit, which is probably enough to produce a bathtub's worth of midriff sweat. Number 24. Jennifer Lawrence was made in the US, and for that I for one will be eternally grateful. Number 25. Most of the world's tornadoes occur in the Midwest region of the US, known as Tornado Alley. I wonder how it got its name. Number 26. Russia and America seem like they're bloody ages away, but at an area called the Bering Straits, they're actually less than 4 kilometers apart. Number 27. The Mississippi and Missouri rivers, oh I'm so glad I don't have a lisp, combine to form the longest river system in the US and the 4th longest in the entire world. Number 28. There's enough water in Lake Superior to cover the entire landmass of North and South America in 1 foot of liquid. Which is amazing, but let's not do that. It would be incredibly irritating for everybody, although I suppose it would be a nice break for firefighters. Number 29. Every movie ever's establishing shot's best friend, the Statue of Liberty, was a rather large gift from France in 1884. That must have taken a lot of wrapping paper. Number 30. The 7 rays on the crown of the Statue of Liberty represent the 7 continents of the world. Each of them measure up to 9 feet in length and weigh as much as 150 pounds. Number 31. Kentucky not only has some really very tasty chicken going for it, but it also has the largest cave system in the world, with over 200 miles of cavey goodness. I wonder how many Zubats you find in there. Number 32. There are small towns in Michigan and California called Hell. People keep telling me to go there, I'm not sure why. Number 33. The original name for the city of Atlanta was Terminus. It's a shame they changed it really, I hear Terminus's barbecue is to die for. Number 34. Statistically speaking, the deadliest job in all of America is president. Of the 44 men who have held the post, 4 have been assassinated while in office. Number 35. Virginia has birthed out more presidents than any other state, which is ironic really when you think about its name. Number 36. The first president of the United States himself, George Washington, used to grow hemp. Smoke weed every day. Number 37. Gerald Ford was the only man to be both president and vice president, but wasn't elected to either post. In American politics, I mean. I was both of the 101 Facts fan club for a while because there weren't enough people to vote. Number 38. George Washington initially refused to accept his salary while president, but eventually went back on his word and said, okay then. Probably not in that voice though. It was $25,000 a year. Number 39! Funnily enough, Washington was also one of the wealthiest presidents of all time, with assets worth more than $500 million. I wonder how he got that. Number 40! Martin Van Buren was the first president to be born an American citizen. All previous presidents were born British subjects. Number 41! Thomas Jefferson invented the swivel chair. So we have Jefferson to thank for the hours of fun procrastinating in offices everywhere until we spin too much and are a bit sick. The meaning of life. Speaking of sick, George Bush inspired a word in Japanese. Bushasuru means literally to do the Bush thing. It's used when someone publicly vomits, as Bush did all over the Japanese Prime Minister in 1992. Number 43! The Founding Fathers penned the first few drafts of the Declaration of Independence on hemp paper. What is it with these guys in hemp?
Number 44.
The Liberty Bell hasn't been heard since George Washington's birthday in 1846. Number 45. The bell was first rung on July the 8th, 1776 to celebrate the first public reading of the Declaration of Independence. Nobody knows when the bell first cracked, although some argue that it was during the Revolutionary War of 1824. Number 46. Anyway, back to the important stuff. 100 acres of pizza are served in the US every day. Number 47. Every second, Americans collectively eat 100 pounds of chocolate. Wait, sorry, I mean $100 of chocolate. Oh no, wait, I was right the first time. God, these conversions are so confusing. Number 48. 1 in 3 Americans are obese. Which is probably something to do with the previous 2 facts, if I'm honest. Number 49. 8 billion chickens are consumed in the US each year. By those 1 in 3 in the last fact, probably. Number 50. An average person in the US eats 35 tons of food in a lifetime. To put that in perspective that we all understand, that's about 380 Hugh Jackmans. Number 51. The average supermarket in the US wastes around 3,000 pounds of food each year. That's about 48,000 donuts worth, or to put it in perspective that we all understand, 15 Hugh Jackmans. Number 52. There are more TVs in the US than there are people in the UK. So, if you've got a spare one lying around, then please lend it to us. I smashed mine in anger at the finale of Downton Abbey. Number 53. The US is known as the land of Hollywood, the movies that we all know and love and occasionally just tolerate. But perhaps, if you'd like, we could talk about that place another time. Number 54. In fact, the very first motion picture theatre opened in LA in 1902. I wonder if the popcorn was still as overwhelmingly expensive. Number 55. The average American spends more than 10 hours a day using an electronic device. If you're watching this right now, America, congratulations! You have about 9.5 hours left? Number 56. The most watched television event in the US is the Super Bowl. No, the sports one. Thank you. Number 57. If you're an NFL football player and you want a little bit more coverage on telly, then stop trying to score and stuff like that and have a little fall down. On average, injured players in televised NFL games get 6 more seconds of camera time than celebrating players. Number 58. There are 3.2 million pom-pom toting cheerleaders in the US, 18.7% of which are male. In fact, Samuel L. Jackson was once one of that 18.7%. Number 59. In the US, $78 billion is spent on TV ads per year. Per year! In my opinion, all adverts should just be a variation upon the Montgomery flea market ad. Number 60. The average viewer watches 175 hours of television a month. That's pretty much a week per month glued to a screen. Or, to put it in a perspective that we all understand, about 14 Hugh Jackmans. Wait, what? Number 61. The average young American will spend 10,000 hours playing video games before the age of 21, when they're legally allowed to go and get a gun and go drinking themselves in real life as opposed to just pretending to do it on a PlayStation. Number 62. Somewhat scarily, the US and its government are among the most powerful in the world. In fact, the US was the first country to develop nuclear weapons, and is now estimated to have over 7,000 of the bloody things. I'm just going to go and play Fallout as a practice for the future. Be right back. Number 63. In 1962, for instance, the US tested a hydrogen bomb in space that was 100 times more powerful than Hiroshima. God, that big an explosion in space? No wonder aliens are trying to attack New York and Los Angeles all the time. Nintendo 64. In World War II, the US and New Zealand secretly tested 3,700 tsunami bombs designed to destroy coastal cities. Wow, how do you secretly test a bomb? Number 65. In the 1920s and early 30s, there was a prohibition on alcohol, meaning its sale and consumption was a big no-no. Unbelievably, the US government actually poisoned alcohol during this time to deter drinking, killing over 10,000 people. Number 66. Apparently, New York doesn't actually taste like New York cheesecake. Number 67. 27% of Americans don't believe the moon landings actually happened at all. Number 68. Dusty old presidents John Adams and Thomas Jefferson had a bet on who would die first. They both died on July the 4th, 1826, so nobody won said bet.
Number 69.
In the US, the naughty video pornography industry is worth over $8 billion, which is the same amount as the bottled water industry. So just combine the two and hey presto, profit! Number 70. According to Forbes, if you have $10 in your pocket and no debts, you're wealthier than 25% of all Americans. Number 71. 1 in 8 American workers has been employed by McDonald's at some point. And I bet McDonald's are loving it. Get it? It doesn't matter. Number 72. 4 planet Earths would be required to sustain the levels of consumption of the US, and apparently we only have one of them. I don't like that math. Number 73. About 20 million Americans live in mobile homes. Number 74. According to those guys in the government, it costs $245,000 to raise a child before college. Guess that depends on how much you spoil them. Number 75. The US spends more money per person on healthcare than any other developed country, but its life expectancy is still below average. Number 76. In case there's any gold diggers watching, the state with the most millionaires per capita is Maryland. Number 77. It costs the US government 1.8 cents to mint a penny and 9.4 cents to mint a nickel. It'll take a lot of minting to get that nickel back. Oh god, no, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean them. Thank you. Number 78. Hey, gold diggers, listen up again. In more than half of all US states, the highest paid public employees are sports coaches. Number 79. If Bill Gates gave every penny of his fortune to the US government, it would only cover the US budget deficit for about 15 days. Number 80. It took from the founding of the nation until 1981 for the US national debt to cross the rather high mark of $1 trillion. Today, the national debt is well over $19 trillion, and it goes up more than $1 trillion every single year. I don't even want to know how many Hugh Jackmans that is. Number 81. The average US worker stays at each of their jobs for 4.4 years. So if you're working in Taco Bell and you're fed up with your manager Sandra's BS, then you're statistically likely to only stay there for a little bit longer. Number 82. The US has 115,000 janitors, 83,000 bartenders, and 323,000 restaurant servers with bachelor's degrees. That makes 54% of college graduates either underemployed or unemployed. But check that last fact and you'll realise it won't be for very long, so don't worry, keep believing and keep achieving. Number 83. The cost of college in the US has gone up 500% since 1985. 500%! And that doesn't even cover the cost of carpet cleaning after sorority parties. Number 84. According to a study conducted by economists Carl Benedict Frey and Michael Osborne, 47% of the jobs in the US could be lost to computers, robots, and other forms of technology. Have they never seen Terminator? It doesn't end well.
And oh god, it's happening to me already.
Oh wait, I live in the UK. Whew.
Number 85.
Anyway, Christmas. Who doesn't love Christmas, eh? Well, apparently the US in its olden days, as it was illegal in the US until 1836, as it was considered an ancient pagan holiday. Number 86. It transpires, though, that apparently Americans do love Christmas, as the best-selling single of all time there is Bing Crosby's White Christmas, selling 25 million copies. Number 87. America also loves The Wind, apparently, as the best-selling movie of all time ever over there is Gone with the Wind, taking $1.7 billion in adjusted gross. Number 88. According to the Recording Industry Association of America, the best-selling artists in the whole of the country are those Beatle fellas? Never heard of them. Number 89. In 1893, an amendment was proposed to rename the United States of America into the United States of the Earth. USC doesn't really have the same kind of ring to it, does it? I mean, hey, wait a minute, that's already a word. Acronyms are fun. Number 90? In 1943, sliced bread was banned to conserve supplies during World War II. Number 91. In America, GPS is owned and controlled by the government. They can switch it off anytime they want. For instance, when you're trying to meet an old college buddy for a spa and fried chicken day. That can be your excuse next time you don't want to go to one of those. You're welcome. Number 92. Salt Lake City has a law against carrying an unwrapped ukulele on the street. So, you watch out for that. Number 93. Sitting on a sea turtle is also a third-degree felony. I should think so. Oh, sitting on a sea turtle is a third-degree felony. Okay. Number 94. The US puts a higher percentage of its population in prison than any other nation on Earth does. They just cannot stop sitting on sea turtles, can they? Number 95. The army owns around 24,000 square miles of land. If the army were a state, it probably wouldn't be much fun, but it would also be the 42nd largest state in the US. Number 96. Speaking of the US military, they have a secret, near-silent type of Velcro which reduces the ripping noise by over 95%. Those geniuses! If they can adapt those onto rip-off shorts, then I would be really, really grateful. What do you mean, why? It's none of your business, Dalton. Number 97. In 2014, the US spent more than $580 billion on the military, which is by far the highest in the world. Lord alone knows how much of that was on Velcro. Number 98. After the release of Top Gun in 1986, the US Navy saw a 500% increase in young men wanting to become naval aviators. So thanks Tom Cruise and Kenny Loggins. Good work, team. Number 99! July the 4th is known as the most patriotic and American date ever as it's Independence Day. But the real Independence Day is actually on the 2nd of July, as this is the day that the meeting to approve independence in Britain actually happened.
Number 100!
Unlike what it says in all the movies, it's actually very rare that aliens attack and invade on the 4th of July. Number 101! The US national anthem's melody was actually originally from a drinking song by the Anacreontic Society, a London-based gentlemen's club in the 18th century, and its original lyrics were about drinking and sex. Crikey. Try and find the original lyrics and sing those instead to spice up Independence Day a little bit. That was 101 facts about the US of A, and I don't know about you, but I had a lovely time. If you want more facts like a bald eagle wants the taste of freedom in its beak, then click on subscribe right now to receive exactly that. Oh, how I do want to hop stateside and visit. There's so many things to see and do. To gamble in Las Vegas and clamber up Lady Liberty and see the Grand Canyon and go to LA and try to get a movie deal and end up crying due to rejection and then getting drunk by myself and singing "What the hell am I doing drinking in LA?" Then laughing to myself because that's a song and then crying again because no one else is laughing and then ending up alone forever. Sounds fun. I think. Maybe I'll cancel my plane ticket actually. And my hotel. Goodbye!